Figure skating actually debuted at the 1908 Summer Olympics in London, although the Olympics then weren't a 3-week sporting extravaganza. Most of the events took place in July, but several sports, such as figure skating, didn't happen until late October. Swedes, led by Ulrich SALCHOW, swept the men's medals. Madge Sayers of Great Britain was the women's champion. SALCHOW's name is still heard in figure skating competitions 110 years later. His name is used to describe one of 6 primary jumps in the sport. Alois Lutz and Axel Paulsen also have the distinction of a signature jump. The primary jumps are broken into 2 categories, toe jumps and edge jumps. Toe jumps are initiated when the skater digs one of her toe picks into the ice to launch into the air. Edge jumps don't use the propulsion of a toe pick. The skater simply leaps into the air. Most jumps involve the skater entering the jump while gliding backwards, except for the axel. Axel jumps are the only one performed with the skater facing forward, and without the toe pick propulsion, it's the hardest jump to execute. All 6 jumps land on the back outside edge of the landing skate. The difference is whether the skater lands on the same foot as takeoff or the opposite foot. Most skaters will rotate their jumps counterclockwise rather than clockwise. A double jump rotates twice in the air, and a triple jump has 3 rotations. Because the axel starts with the skater facing forward, there are actually 3.5 rotations in a triple axel. Here are the 6 jumps, presented in order of difficulty. The toe loop is a toe jump in which the skater takes off on the back outside edge and lands on the same foot as takeoff. The SALCHOW is an edge jump that takes off on the back inside edge and lands on the opposite foot. The loop is an edge jump that takes off on the back outside edge and lands on the same foot. The flip is a toe jump that takes off on the back inside edge and lands on the opposite foot.
My favorite jump is jump flip triple toe, mostly because it feels like I just float and fly, and the 2 jumps together makes it feel more special.
The Lutz is a toe jump that takes off on the back outside edge and lands on the opposite foot.
My favorite jump is the triple Lutz, and then my second one's the favorite is just the triple toe. Those 2 are my go-to jumps. I'm a very high and powerful jumper, and they are just a lot of fun to do.
The axel is an edge jump in which the skater takes off on the front outside edge and lands on the opposite foot.
So triple axel, out of all the jumps in figure skating, axel's the weirdest in my opinion, because you take off forward, completely exposed, and you're taking off the front of your blade, whereas most other jumps you're skating into them backwards and rising to the toe backwards. So as opposed to rocking from, you're rocking, either way you're rocking from the back of the blade to the front, but it's just the momentum that you carry into it is, you're more stable when you're skating as a figure skater. Going backwards is more stable than going forwards. So obviously that explains why the axel can be a bit of a nemesis or a pest.
But every skater has different strengths and weaknesses.
I have a hard time with Lutzes because you have to be on a certain edge, and I have a hard time getting to that edge.
My difficult jump was loop. I just wasn't a fan of loop. But I think the jump that most women are scared of is double axel, because you do take off forwards from it, and it is one of those jumps that if you take off from, it's just scary.
Each men's and women's short program must have a double or triple axel, a 2-jump combination, and a triple jump followed by connecting steps or comparable movements. Free programs have to have at least 1 axel jump and can have a maximum of 8 jumps for men and 7 for women.
My favorite jump is the triple axel, which is, funny enough, it's my weakest jump out of my inventory of jumps. 2 years ago, it was my least consistent element. I hated it. It was like my nemesis, and everybody knew that. And finally, I was part of the initial reason I came back was because there was all these little elements that I hadn't perfected, and I didn't want to leave that untouched. And I wanted to really tackle it and master it, because I believed in myself that I have the ability to do that. And it's now it's improved greatly, an 80% improvement rate, I think. And I actually enjoy it, because now every time I landed, I know how much work I put in for that to be successful, more so than any other jumps in my arsenal.